Good evening, everyone. Raf here from Onic'Sclusvie Philippines. For today's episode, we have a special guest, and with our special guest, actually just to share with you guys, no, bago kasi mag-start yung podcast, mga 10 minutes before, ang ginagawa namin para medyo mawala yung hiya or mga moments na medyo jittery, pinapakanta namin yung guest namin. Pero, yung guest namin na mismo nagsabi, ang gusto niyang kantahin during the podcast. So, before I introduce to you our special guest for the midweek special of our podcast for Leg 1, the floor is yours, Reptar.
Thank you. Kakatayin ko to dahil hindi ako nakapagkuha ng ticket sa aking paboritong musical na Hamilton. You'll be back, soon you'll see. You'll remember you belong to me. You'll be back, time will tell. You'll remember that I served you well. Oceans rise, empires fall. We have seen each other through it all. And when pushed comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love. Da 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 da. Dapat nag-warm up pala ako eh.
Before anything.
Ang lala nun, sorry!
Before anything.
That was so bad!
I forgot to add Wish 107.5. Yan. Okay, para sa mga nakakapasok lang, I just want to remind everyone, hindi po to yung Wish 107.5 bus. It just so happens we have a special guest with a special talent. But once again, thank you, Renmar, for the song. Thank you.
Thank you na G kayo gawin yan.
Actually, feel ko sa susunod, lahat ng guests namin, papakanta namin before mag-start. Thank you for starting the tradition.
Para hindi ako lang. Para meron na din kayong in the future compilation.
Yeah, compilation. Right. Yan. So once again, welcome everyone. I'm happy you guys are here. Thank you again for tuning in to the ONIC'sclusive, and it's our 4th episode right now. Thank you for the love and support from everyone for the past few weeks, from week 1, 2, and 3, especially for those who constantly support us from our highs and lows and always here as a fan of ONIC. He is one of the top casters in MPL PH. He's known as the one and only Rep AR. Recently nakuha ng Minana Evos. Yeah. He's all. If you're wondering kung saan nanggagaling yung mga ala WWE style intros, the man behind the voice, the man behind the face, Reptar. Welcome to the show.
You.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. Before that, you're a fan of mga musicals?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say na sobrang fan ako katulad ng mga diehard musical and theater fans talaga.
Right.
Pero, well, Hamilton really stuck with me.
Mm-mm.
And then, meron din isang, I think it was like the 10th anniversary or 15th anniversary concert of Les Miserables na dati pinanood ko yun lagi nung high school ako.
Right.
Because someone lent me a DVD and then eventually, binalik ko sa kanya. Bumili ako ng sariling DVD ko noon. Then I just kept listening to it kasi ang lupit.
Kasi I was gonna ask sana for like may parang favor lang sana ko. Actually, there's this one particular musical that I love that I think everyone knows. Do you know The Greatest Showman?
Oh yeah.
Can you sing anything from The Greatest Showman before we start?
I will admit na I've never watched it in total.
Really?
Yung mga clips lang
Right.
So wala akong memorized na kanta doon.
Okay, sayang. Next time guys when we bring back Renmar, he's gonna sing yung buong Greatest Showman para sa atin.
Grabe no. Special episode,
Yeah.
buong album, pinakanta.
Sige. Before anything, right? I just wanted to ask, how have you been?
Good. Pero stressed, legit. Kasi lately, nahirapan ako humabol sa sarili kong sked.
Right.
Dahil this season, ang dami ko talaga gusto gawin, especially content-wise.
Right.
And originally, plan ko is I'll take Mondays off.
Right.
Pero nakita ko, grabe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just for content, hindi ko kaya. Sobrang crammed. So this week, I decided to work Monday, pero I don't know, baka hindi ko pa nahanap yung flow ko sa trabaho,
Right.
sa pag-edit, gawa ng sariling notes, and then preparing din for the next weekend of broadcast.
Right.
And surprising na midway through na tayo ng season. Diba? Shortened season.
Right.
Di pa rin ako nakapag-adjust. So, medyo habol ako sa sarili kong oras.
Right. Actually, I'm just curious, no? Kasi, like, we all understand coming from the MPL, like MPL teams, for example, for the longest time, 8 weeks, right? Kami din may adjustment. I wonder, like, what's the certain adjustments you guys have to go through then, since 6 weeks lang din kayo? Like, kasi na-imagine ko, there are other days na 2 lang yung cast, or minsan, at most, 3. Ngayon, parang pagdating ng isang day, 4 sa isang araw. Like, how has it been with you naman?
The adjustments nanggagaling talaga on the broadcast weekend.
Right.
Kasi, so you guys know, call time namin usually is 9 a.m.
Oh.
9 or 10 a.m. 10 a.m. or 9 a.m.
Right.
Depending. And depende rin sa takbo ng mga laro. Alam naman natin, minsan sobrang gabi natatapos, ang haba ng games, or because of things we couldn't control, humaba yung araw. On average, siguro 10 to 12 hours na sa studio lang kami.
Right. No, so like, what time do you go home?
Okay, every weekend, since ang hirap makabook ng
Grab
sa studio.
Right.
Di ba pag sabihin natin first 2 casts ako. So matatapos yun siguro maybe around 7:30, 7 kung mabait ang oras. Pero makaka-uwi na ako siguro mga 10:30 or 11.
Oh.
Tapos tatapusin ko yung araw. And then after that, the talents talk a bit, relax.
Right.
And then I go home. Or I go straight to the gym and then I go home.
Right. So, ang nangyayari minsan is like, so kahit sabihin natin, like, you only have 2 casts, pero dahil nga sa traffic, you just stay na lang para, kasi sayang din ng oras kasi naghahanap, wala ka rin naman mahanap.
Yeah, and that goes for all of us. Hindi lang ako. Madalas, yung may ibang tao doon, tinatapos talaga nila yung araw sa studio na kahit tapos na yung nila, yung shift nila.
They just stay na lang to make life easier. Okay. Sige, actually, I'm Actually, that's one thing I was really curious about, especially pagdating sa backend ng MPL and specifically yung casters, right? And I think before anything, we get into the main gist of why you're here.
Okay.
And I'm just curious, right? Do you have any caster stories that you can share? Na, like, what are your most favorite casting moments? Or has been a moment na parang bilang isang caster, like, shit. Yeah.
Yung parang this is it.
Like, yung timong shit moment mo. Like,
para sa akin talaga, always at the top of my list will be yung M2 cast na for the Filipino broadcast.
Right.
Ang nandala yung Bren. Of course, being able to cast that with Rob, losing my voice. Sobrang pass ko na 7 games, a legendary series, still one of the best grand finals of all time, not just for the M series, pero as
in general,
in general, in
tama.
MLBB esports. Never ko yun makakalimutan.
Right.
And people still remind me about it kasi either sasabihin nila, uy, yung umiyak, or yung, uy, yung nawalan ng boses. But it's okay, man. At least I got to do it.
Right.
And then, yeah, pretty much just being able to be part of all the grand finals I've been a part of.
Right.
It's a tremendous honor. Nag-hot streak ako na sa almost all. Minus MPLI, almost all of the tournaments I was a talent for at nasa grand finals yung Pilipinas.
Right.
Nanalo Pilipinas. Hindi ko naman sinasabi ako yung lucky charm, pero coincidental lang.
Right.
Diba?
Right. So, the next
feels
time...
good, man.
So, pagdating ng M5, dapat nasa main broadcast ka.
Pwede. I mean, wala naman sa kamay ko eh. Pero baka naman, mood naman.
Shit, para matapos na yung the Filipino era is done, ulul.
Trial card pa kayo.
Yeah. Diyos ko. Okay, since we started talking about M5 na, right? And we know na it's the halfway into the regular season, right? And going through the list, between the 8 teams, Siyempre, the reason why I also wanted to have you here is I wanted to hear your personal opinion in terms of how has it been, the overall MPL right now. Kasi admittedly, it's very different from last season. Kasi nga, 6 weeks is number 1. I think, kasi that means more pressure to other teams. I think, dati kasi yung mindset was, syempre nakakapaglaro ka ng 8 weeks and per week either 2 games na lang or sometimes nga 1 game, so you use that for rest. Ito, baliktad eh. Minsan dalawa, tatlo.
Yeah.
Tapos so parang yung time for that to think about the overall strategy or analysis, pagdating sa mga games, it gives you less and less time but more and more pressure, right? And I was just wondering, I'd like to hear your thoughts on like how do you feel that all teams in general, how are they adjusting to it?
Well, I just really want to say, lagi naman sobrang taas ang respeto ko para sa mga coaching staff. Pero this season talaga yung one day kasi pagkatapos ng isang cast, tinatapos ko yung araw. First and second series ako, I was just in the studio for third. And then iniisip ko bigla, grabe ang hirap ng buhay ng mga coaching staff ngayon kasi sobrang condensed. At alam ko, sobrang stressful na yung normal na yung 8 weeks dati. That in itself already was very difficult.
Right.
Especially if like you're a coaching staff worth your salt na grabe yung preparation talaga. And then knowing about how other coaching staffs would prepare and then thinking na they're doing that now pero in a more condensed schedule.
Tama.
Nakakatulog ba sila?
Right.
Which I'm sure the management and then of course the coaching staffs have adjusted lifestyle-wise.
Right.
Pero just thinking about it talaga sa lahat ng di ba nung week 3 nagbagong patch o nag-iba ulit yung meta. Medyo nag-throwback pero medyo bago din. And then that adjustment they had to consider even before the start of the season. Because, by the way, that's something that some people don't acknowledge sometimes or fans don't realize. Is, before the season starts, of course, naka-note na yan sa mga coaching staff kung kailan mangyayari yung mga patch. And then, even before that, they're already drawing up plans. Paglabas na, pabilisan na lang ng adjustments.
Yeah,
kasi kasi di ba before that, it's just theory lang.
Tama.
Pero pag nakita nila in practice na, hindi, kailangan ayusin natin to, kailangan adjust natin to.
Right. Yeah. Like, for example, like when the patches came out no third week, everyone was picking healers.
Oh.
Like I mean, it's because of the aqua flask. That we call it the aqua flask. The flask.
Yung photo.
Yeah, yung photo. We just call it the aqua flask. Yeah. Kasi, I mean, honestly, like, what happened with us, diba? Putang ina, 2 healer meta. We were like, the fuck? Ba't nagja-jungle yung Harit? Putang ina, bugbog gago. Admittedly, kasi none of us really expected it. It's like, they kind of fucked up the meta in that way, and that's really so interesting that they can think about it, diba? Like, it's the same thought I had when... this is that's the feeling I had when it came to the meta, like... Specifically when si Raflesia did his first diggy. Yung the feeding diggy, right? So I was like, that's the exact same feeling. But the difference was, hindi kami kalaban nun. Kami yung naging, kami yung biktima nung kagaguhan na yun eh. So medyo na what the fuck talaga ako. Pero at that time, honestly, admittedly, no one knew naman that it was gonna be as effective as that. But, that's the thing din naman. I guess parang, I agree with you, no? Na before that, they've had plans. Maybe what they normally do is like they prepare a month before. They already have like specific like strats that they can work on. Pero pagdating kasi ng sudden change ng patch, like you have no time to rest.
Yeah.
Like you just look at the patch notes. Who's buffed, who's got nerfed, and then you just theory craft every scrim that you have.
Yeah. And actually, ang dami rin pwede matutunan yung mga fans.
Right.
Especially from watching the streams of players.
Right.
Kasi dun minsan lumalabas yung mga sudden realizations nila. Di ba nag-trending nga yung sinabi ni Yawi, alam ko na yung ginagawa ni Yobik pag Kufra to siya, tapos kalaban niya si Franco.
Right.
Tapos tatapakan bigla yung revenge para makancel yung hook animation. Parang mga ganun.
Right.
So, for fans there who want to get potentially a teaser sa mga iniisip ng mga teams,
right,
panoorin yung mga streams ng mga players. Kasi
that's true.
Hindi masyadong obvious, pero doon talaga sila nagtetest ng mga idea.
Right. Kasi like, given it's much easier, kasi pagdating ng scrims, medyo serious mode. And then when it comes to like yung RGs or like the lives, that's when they can start experimenting. And then when theory crafting works, papasok na nila sa scrim. So yun na. Yeah, that's true actually. So, given nga the overall changes, even the sudden change of patch, pati yung sudden change ng scheduling from 8 weeks to 6 weeks, I'd just like to get into the whole scene, no? Like the whole standings right now, if you don't mind. I was wondering, would you want me to throw it to you as the way it was like yung position 1 to 8? Or I'll just throw any team to you, and then I'd like to hear your overall thoughts on them, and maybe like what are they doing good now, and what do they think that they can improve on. And then ako I'm really curious kasi like sa to lang it's really important to hear, especially from like key opinion leaders pagdating sa mga ganito, like what are their opinions in terms of the overall the issue at hand, which is basically the MPL standings right now.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, what would you rather do? Are you doing the first 1 to 8 or I just throw a team na to you and then
Masaya yung, feeling ko masaya yung medyo random.
Okay, sige. Alright, sige. So, basically, as I mentioned, guys, how it works is this way. I'll throw a team at Reptar. I want to hear what his thoughts are in terms of the team's performance, if they shocked him, so on and so forth. If you feel like na disappoint ka or whatnot. And if you were given the chance na sabihin natin nakapasok ka sa management ng team na yun, like you had the authority to call shots, what would you do? So, sige. Blacklist International.
Very happy with and very pleasant surprise that Renegade is popping off the way he is.
Yeah.
And again, we can't hear the player comms, but if everyone keeps praising Haji as a captain and his shot calling, even though I know the team also shot calls, but as far as I know, in the past kasi we've even talked about how Renegade and Haji are, kung ano man team sila, they're pretty vocal.
Right.
Na the fact that Blacklist can move the way they do now, kung ako yung coach, it's like, oh, thank goodness it's working out.
Right.
And even better na, especially after week 3, parang feeling ko warning yung sa league na OHEB is back.
Right,
Even
right.
more so.
Tama.
Na first few a little bit, it's like, all right, he's not fully back just yet. But then after week 3, it was like, oh no, he's back for sure.
Parang nag-iinit ng... sobrang...
Yung konting init lang, biglang boom.
Yeah, biglang boom talaga siya.
And that's great for Blacklist because now, pwede mo na adjust yung playstyle mo a bit. Again, this is just how I see it. First 1-2 weeks, very dependent on their mid-rotations because they really want to help OHEB out in the lane.
Right.
Or the rare times anyone would dare try to gank Edward, of course, dun sila magre-respond. So it's very clear gitna, jungle, okay, sige, alright, sige, side lanes.
Right.
Now that you can fully trust OHEB and go, bahala na dyan yung Filipino sniper. Sino man tapat mo sa lane.
Right.
Niya. That kind of vibe, that opens up the map more.
True.
Takes the rotational pressure on the middle away from them. So, and we said this on broadcast, especially the English broadcast, na if you are still not wary of Blacklist International, you should start being so. Because yes, wala dun the Queen and the King, V-Wise isn't there.
Right.
But this is a Blacklist you have to fear and respect.
Right. Actually, I'm curious, right? Since they were like some of the few teams that made the most or capitalized on yung rule na sa MPL you can have 10 players. Would you want to see anyone else play from them or ano?
Honestly, I'm missing Yue play.
Yeah.
I just miss seeing Yue play.
True.
He really stood out. It would be nice to see if they'd slot him in, but then at the same time, I mean, if the coaching staff feel like on the game days, it's gonna be the 5 that we've only seen so far this season sa Lamagala.
Right.
Then that's the case.
True.
Pero alam ko din naman na, and diba, Boss Strike was very public about it, na gumawa sila ng 10-man kasi na-inspire sila sa style ng Echo.
Right.
How Echo proud yung, well, their MDL team, but at that time wala pang MDL. How Echo proud really helped shape them into
true.
world championship form.
Right.
And I mean, it'll be nice to see some shifts, but yeah, I miss the aggressiveness of you.
Actually, I mean, when the season started, nung lumabas ko yung lineup, there was a particular lineup that I thought would work the best for them. Now, I think it's the same lineup, right? You just replace Renegade with the Yue, and then you move Haji back to tank. That's what I was thinking na in terms of what would be the most successful lineup.
Yeah.
But I think I have to admit, right, Renegade is playing super different the way he was starting.
Yeah.
So I really, when now looking back at it, kung ako bibigyan ng chance, parang nakikita ko na bakit sila nga yung parang parating pinapalaro ngayon.
Yeah. Maganda yung connection nila ni Haji. And
right.
You saw a potential in it nung nag-Snapdragon Pro Series sila. Although we know how that ended for them. I felt like whatever happened after Snapdragon Pro Series was like a wake-up call for NJ.
Tama.
Because him playing the way he did after week 1 and then continuing to still really be great.
Right.
Feel ko, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I think Renegade just went like super locked in na mag-improve ako.
Right. Actually, like, what I found interesting, I do remember Mara in terms of the interview when he was interviewing Renegade din kasi. Like, does he get any outside help from like Venus, for example? Which I think naman, syempre, having the queen by your side would definitely up your game, right? But I found so interesting na when I found that he said, no, not really. Pero parang, I was only just purely observing when he was back in like season 11, right? So I was honestly shocked to find out na parang in terms of yung having help or assistance from Venus, it wasn't as heavy as I expected it to be. But despite him not getting yung help na I expected him to get rather, he's still performing really well.
Yeah. The fact that he admitted like a lot of the things that yung tumatak sa kanya from their season 11 run, just observing and listening to Mom Shoes, hanggang ngayon, nasa isip pa rin niya and he still utilizes a bit of that. I think it speaks a lot about his character sa player.
Right.
Tapos ano rin naman alam ko sa ibang sports, meron din mga interview ako, I remember I've seen in the past, na sabihin natin may bagong young rookie na papasok sa isang team na ang dami ng stars. Oo, marami sa kanila they'll go for the advice, but there are some who opt na observe lang muna ako.
Right.
Di ako tatanong sa kanila directly. Kasi pag tinanong ko sila directly masyado, baka mag-iba yung laro ko na hindi na ako yung
Parang yung
playstyle ko.
mamomold na yung playstyle ko, parang nagiging mirror na lang sa kanya.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gets ko.
Maybe baka yun din yung nasa isip ni Rene G na at the end of the day, gusto pa rin niya yung playstyle niya as Rene J.
Right.
But at the same time, getting some of the best qualities na pwede niya kaya niya emulate from Mom Shoes.
Okay. Last question on Black. Actually, last two questions. Star player for the team for you? Any breakout players for that team?
Okay. Other than the obvious picks. But Sensui.
Yeah.
I mean, after season 11, and actually no, during Sensui's runs, even in season 11, we were also very vocal about it in the broadcast.
Right.
Like, if ever, or sa mga side content namin as casters, we'd say, if Sensui would be in another team, it'd be Blacklist. So, nung na-announce na Sensui's in Blacklist, like, perfect fit.
Right.
Because how Sensui prioritizes objectives, paano siya Lord dance, how he plays, yung confidence, and hindi, kaya ko to retrain. Kahit 4 kayo, 5 kayo, kaya ko to retrain.
Right.
Tapos ginagawa niya. So yeah, Sensui is great.
Okay. And last question, if you were part of the management, would you make any changes?
No. It would just, at this point, I'd look at it more in the life coaching side na sana lang wag lumaki yung ulo ng players. Because players before have been very vocal about how pag nag-win streak sila, naging komportable na masyado, nawawala yung urgency.
Right.
Because the way I see Blacklist right now, and a lot of teams is, especially yung the ones performing at the top, Echo's undefeated.
Right.
Onic went on a run out of nowhere.
Right.
Feeling ko sense of urgency na yun na just the right amount of self-pressure para lumakas palalo, mas maging mas maging disciplinado
pa
na todo. So, yun na yung magiging approach.
Okay. Actually, that's a very interesting take. No, I do agree. That's a problem that a lot of teams face na when they get into the position that they're comfortable rather, parang that's when the chill lang muna vibes come in. And that's normally what kind of takes you out of your zone kasi parang you're allowing yourself to relax for a bit when in fact na if you want it the most, you have to work your ass off the most na din. Right. Before we get into the second team, I would like to thank our sponsors, by the way. Yan. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Right. So, first and foremost, we'd like to thank Anterior Solutions, business solutions with software solutions. Isuzu Subic, your responsible partner. Attaché, ready anywhere. KTM Bike Industries, ready to race. Timex Philippines, we don't stop. And last but not the least, Converge Fiber X. If you're a gamer and want better gameplay, change the game, go for Game Changer. And before anything, I'd like to thank and give a shout out to Frederick Manawat for sharing his thoughts about the podcast. Thank you so much for always watching, and we do appreciate your thoughts on the podcast. Thank you. Right. Sige, let's get back into it. Since we already talked about Blacklist, right? Let's talk about their arch nemesis.
Ooh.
Omega.
Yeah. Okay. Every time Omega has a season like a season they're having now, I'm not surprised. It's either yung exciting sa Omega
Right.
Either sobrang gana o sobrang nahirapan, then out of nowhere biglang mag-win streak.
Right.
And the last time they went on like a really good win streak was, di ba, season 10.
Right.
Init nung start.
Right.
Biglang inamin nila, medyo nawala na kami ng apoy. Kaya di ba, like after week 4, week 5, nag-lose streak yung Omega heading into the playoffs.
Right.
Then eventually they dropped to Bren Esports in the opening round. Season 11, shaky. But then laban at some points, made it to the playoffs.
Right.
So again, I'm still not gonna be surprised if Omega somehow make it into the playoffs.
Yeah. Tama.
I feel like though, if there's gonna be a team na baka mag-struggle dun sa sudden 6-week shift, it might be them. But medyo na-alleviate yung fears ko na yun nung nilaban nila Onic.
Right.
Nung nilabas nila yung Barafa, mid, Minotaur, Rome, tas para masuportahan yung Harith jungle. Tas pinares nila Edith, tas Brody.
Right.
Showing na papasok nila si Keller sa jungle.
Right.
Gagawa sila ng ganun na lineup. Ilalaro nila against Onic na win streak malala. Man, kaya pa ng Omega.
Right. Actually,
Andun pa rin yung espiritu ng Omega.
before anything, right, I think the person we have to really give the credit to was Coach Stronger daw.
Yes.
The coach. I was very impressed by that. Kasi it's really hard for you to find those non-standardized na builds or non-standardized na draft na. I'm not saying na parang he's the best coach or anything, but to think of something out of the box din kasi in terms of yung standard, sobrang laking bagay din yun.
Oh.
And admittedly, everyone's just shocked. Kami talaga, grabe. We didn't know what was happening. Well, on my end, I don't know about the players, right? Because I haven't asked them. Because they were just saying, like, tangina, cheese lang yan. Which is honestly, in a way, yeah, it's very cheesy. But it's a cheesy one that really, really works. It pisses me off up until now.
Yeah, and sana yun yung hope ko sa Omega na magpakita pa sila ng mga ganun.
Right.
Kasi dun yung malupit yung Omega eh. And I just wanna say, Omega have some of the biggest balls in the league right now.
Yeah.
Pas binalikan ko yung may game sila kontra sa yung series nila against sa Bren.
Right.
Nag-drafts nung game number 2 yun, dun nag-Lord Steal si Ito Max yung Novaria niya.
Yeah.
Tas 26 minutes yun. Usually, madalas nakita natin, pag game 3, pagkatapos ng long game 2, balance lahat yung draft.
Right.
Walang mag-early game lang kasi gusto nila chill lang. If ever gumana sa early game tas nag-snowball, nice.
Right.
Pero iniisip nila, baka umabot to ng late game. 15 to 20 plus minutes.
Right.
Tapos bigla yung Omega sabi nila, tapusin na natin. Tapos nag-draft sila ng... Hanap ko yung notes ko. Ito. Pinakita nila agad sa first 3 picks nila, Irithel, Angela, Joy Jungle. First 3 picks red side, galing ka lang sa sobrang mahabang laro. Kalaban mo AP Bren.
Right.
That takes a lot of balls.
Right.
And only Omega would do something as crazy as that.
Right.
So if I'm Omega, hopefully hindi mawala yung side na ganun from them.
Right.
That bite. It's one of the reasons why they made it to the grand finals nung season 9. But then when they went up against RSC, well, at that point, RSCPH were just so good.
Right.
But medyo nawala yung side na ganun ng Omega. Naisip, they reading their draft, parang part of it was a little bit more too cautious for our tastes sa casters na.
Right.
Medyo iba yung drafting style ng Omega sa grand finals na to.
Right.
So if I'm Omega, sana hindi mawala yung side na ganun. Creativity, yung feeling nila, hindi, gagana to. Sige, subukan natin. Uy, gumana. Ganun.
Right.
Because that's always been Omega.
Actually, like, just to share with you, right? Since recently, for the season, we acquired Ryzen from Omega. I never really understood yung play of Omega up until you actually have a player from Omega.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because you really don't understand it talaga. Kasi when I look at Ryzen, when I first met him, he was super chill. He was like doing nothing. He was like very introverted medyo. But when you get to know him, he's being makulit. And then at times kasi parang we were thinking na sometimes Ryzen can be inconsistent. Parang ganun in terms of scripts. But holy shit, when he gets on stage,
Iba.
it's so different.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's so what? Tangina. It's like he was the first people na I'd be worried of. But when he gets on stage, it's so different. Parang it's just a complete 180.
Yeah, magaling umaura yung mga tao na dumaan na sa Omega.
I don't understand, but they have that grabe. I'm honestly like when the whole play of Omega when you look at it in a fan perspective, like, oh, it's because it's Omega, it's strong, yeah. But when in reality, you're exposed to how it actually works, it's so different talaga.
May ibang aura sila.
It's so different talaga.
And we've heard that like so many times from players over the years. But
Right.
it always came in the form of lason sila.
Yeah,
But
right.
they never said, may aura sila kasi.
Right.
Something with them.
Right.
Kaya nung nakita ko si Ryzen, nung dumiretso ka agad kay Kelron, Flinexan, it's like,
Yeah.
now we're seeing Ryzen wake up.
Yeah. That was good. Shit, that was good.
Diba? Saya nga. Oh, by the way, sobrang saya kami na nakabalik yung initan moments eh.
True, yeah.
Medyo thankful ako dun sa MPL Malaysia for that.
Yeah.
For being so down to like,
Yeah.
balik na natin yung
Totoo. I mean, like, quick segue, right? MPL Malaysia is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, grab. I mean, honestly, I feel like in terms of yung market size and yung mga people that are watching, mas less. Pero yung intensity ng community is so crazy talaga.
Ganun talaga pag football country yung yung lugar.
Right.
Indonesia's like that too.
Right. Yeah, sa bagay.
Malaysia's just a bit more in the wilder portion of it that we can see on camera.
Right. That's true. It's so funny. Like, you have like six people from like one team just shouting. Like, what the fuck? It's so different kasi when you have like 30 people, may angas ka eh. Parang alam mong maarahan mo eh. Pare 6. Pero the way they shout at them, kala mo grand finals na. I'm just happy that, in all honesty, right? Siyempre, that's also slowly incorporating into the game. And I think what I love about it most talaga is it's not forced.
Yeah.
Parang it's just that players just doing their own shit, right? It's just, it's like, no one's telling them to, i-flexan mo to. Oh, like, no, it's just, fuck. If you wanna make gago, then make gago. Go ahead. Kasi at the end of the day, they do understand each other where they're coming from.
Yeah.
I think naman it's only just a way of to show their like confidence and at the same time yung competitive nature nila. So yeah. But going back to Omega, right? Any breakout players for you?
Ryota.
Right.
Without a doubt, man. I mean, Atoy R has always been really good.
Right.
And to see him like the trust that Omega put into him na parang sinabi, pre, bahala ka na sa XP lane, ha?
Right.
You're replacing Renzo. Ikaw na bahala dyan.
Right.
I remember I spoke about this before na side content na ginawa ko na si Ryota, parang, di ba matagal na namin sinasabi si Renzo, yung style niya talaga sa XP, he's not the super 1v1 duelist god sa XP.
Right.
Pero tatalunin ka niya with smarts.
Right.
Yung
Discarte. Yeah.
Minion wave management. Akala mo nandito siya pero biglang nagkakat na or nasa likod mo tapos matatamaan ka, alis siya kagad.
Right.
Sobrang galing dumiskarte si
Renzo. Right.
Ryota, I feel like is leaning more towards the side of players such as like Edward Naths.
Right.
Yung bruise ko talaga sa lane.
Right.
Sobrang hirap tapatan. Pag nagkalaban mo yung any of those players, isip ko, tangina ba ito yung naging kalaban ko ngayon? Yung ganun na frustration. But I like that Ryota is also showing more of the Renzo side and feeling it could be maybe because Ryota's always been like that or baka with how long Renzo played with Omega and the players there, baka they're instilling some of those Renzo style values into him na, uy, minsan pre, discartein mo lang muna bago ka matake yung mga ganun.
Right. I do agree. I mean, no bias just because he was from Onic before, right? But generally, I feel like the one who's maybe even carrying the game is him for me, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
It's just sad for me. Like, if for me, there's a breakout player and then there's a player na medyo na-disappoint talaga ako. I think, for me, Chak, no. I just don't...
Really?
Yeah, I don't... The way... It's not that... The thing is kasi, when you look at it, for me, right, the impact of Chak has always been so high.
Okay.
But when it comes to like currently with how things are working, parang it's like any other roamer that I can find in MPL right now. Kasi the way he impacted the game when he was playing before is crazy. It's like he can literally turn a game around just by himself. But parang with these times that have been passing and syempre understanding how the game's been working and like the overall tournament, personally for me, parang medyo nalulungkot lang kasi I know his potential. That's what I mean by medyo na-disappoint ako. Kasi I understand na this guy can ruin dreams in seconds. But parang I haven't seen that glimpse of him in a while eh. So medyo ganun ako.
I get what you mean.
Right.
And I'll provide a counter thought to that.
Right.
A different perspective to it.
Sige.
Chakno's game is evolving.
Right.
And he's playing with a different XP laner.
Tama.
With Renjo, of course, magaling dumiskarte. He opens up the map.
Right.
But mainly the setups will come from Chakno talaga.
Right.
Now that he's playing with someone like Ryota,
Right.
you can expect Ryota will set up more. And Chakno most probably is either peeling for Kelra or E2 Max. Nasa backline lang siya. Or naglayer lang din siya ng skills.
Right.
I was thinking about that too, how long it will take for Chakno to readjust coming back to the MPL.
Right.
Nasagot niya yun kagad when they went up against Minana Evos in their first win of the season. Yung reference nga doon ni Midnight nung nasa Filipino broadcast kami was may walking win condition kami tas pangalan nun, Chakno. So I was like, alright, Chakno still has it. And then seeing it, nag-evolve lang talaga para sa akin yung laro ni Chakno. I feel like yung hinahanap natin dati na actually right now, what we look for in Chakno, we can see from Perkziva when he plays.
Right.
I think andun pa rin yun. But right now, hindi ganun pressured si Chakno na lagi ilabas yun.
Parang it's not what he's required to do for you. Right.
Like, hindi na lagi.
Okay.
Option lang yun. Kung kailangan mo siya mag-choco, fra whatever, yung setup, hatak, pick-off, pwede. Pero kung hindi naman talaga masyado kailangan, mas pwede natin mag-draft tayo ng ibang style,
right.
the evolved Chakno style, then we'll go for that.
Right. I mean, no hate towards Chakno, right? No, none at all, right?
He's still a fucking great roamer.
I think he's really great. It's just that parang in terms of the impact that he gives to Omega right now isn't as big compared to what it was before.
I think it's still big, but hindi ganun ka-obvious.
It's not as flashy, kumbaga. It's not as...
Hindi ganun ka-flashy.
Right.
For me personally, I feel like nandun pa rin. But yun nga, medyo like a Mamba.
Right.
He won't always need to strike right now. But when he does strike, sobrang impact.
Last question. If you were the management, given that they're sixth, kung tama ko, sixth place ata, what would you do?
I'm trying to remember. Didn't they bring up someone from MDL or they were supposed to? Let me see. Continuing on what we mentioned, give Chakno a little bit more opportunity to show those times where flashy siya.
Right.
But, again, it's working out for them, but minsan napupunta sila sa position na I think how many games have they had? I think 4 or 5 games this season.
Right.
Not series, but 4 or 5 games wherein nalamangan sila sa early, tas
Comeback.
Right. Or close to comeback.
Right.
Kasi hindi ka na nga mag-comeback sila pero nag-split po si si Kram sa huling series niya.
Yeah.
So, sana in the goal of trying to be a bit more adjusted to the meta, hopefully Omega doesn't hold back of showing the old Omega style.
Right.
Because if not, baka magulat sila. Baka if ever pag-abot sa last week, maybe they're fighting for tournament life.
Right.
Playoff life na pala.
Right.
So, that's just one thing. But again, that's a very broad thing. Because again, for me right now, I'm actually having a bit of a hard time reading Omega.
Right.
Partly also that hopefully they keep encouraging Andoryu.
Right.
Because to me, I get the vibe from Andoryu that maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself.
Yeah.
Or napapressure talaga siya. And I'm sure Omega's doing everything to make him feel comfortable. But I see flashes in what could be a very great player in Andoryu.
Right. Tama.
Tinitingnan ko si Andoryu, I see early days Ryzen. And look where Ryzen is now.
Tama. Yeah.
Shining with on.
Yeah.
Hopefully, mas ma-expedite pa yung process na yun na ilabas yung side na ganun kay Andoryu. But at the same time, hopefully, if Andoryu ever sees this, you're doing great. I'm a fan. I see a big potential in you. Tuloy mo lang and take away the pressure from your shoulders.
Right. Ako personally, before we move on to the next team, right, just to spoil your party, I'll just be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if someone from MDL would be brought up. That's my thing. It's not specifically for the role of the core. It's not that I don't see the potential, but I feel like parang I do agree kasi there might be times that there are a lot of things that we don't see in the team, right? But I feel like the pressure onto him, and maybe in terms of like the comparison and then them just wanting to win and I think there's a big chance that would happen. That's my take. But if it happens, like, it's okay. If it doesn't, then it's okay too. I don't really mind either.
Yeah. At the same time, competition is good, like, within the team.
Right.
Like, kung meron kang kalaban sa role mo, of course, gaganahan ka na, lumakas pa. So,
That's true.
it might go well for them din.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. After Omega, any team that you want to talk about?
I can lump TNC and Manana into the same group.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a very crazy chop suey mix of identity crisis,
Right.
for some reason not being able to convert a good early game into a better mid and late game. Kasi pareha sila, like honestly, pareha sila magaling mag-early.
Tama.
There was one game of Manana versus Onic nung nilabas namin yung bagong suggested nickname namin kay Jem na Hidden Gem.
Right.
Na yung early game, nung game number 1, sobrang in the lead sila. Pero isang mali lang wherein instead of they committed a 5v4 team fight, ginawa nila, they sent Lord JM to for some reason defend the turret against Nets na at that point, lamang na nga yung Brody ni Domeng. You didn't need to defend that turret.
Right.
Ituloy mo yung lead. After that, nakahabol na yung Onic. Ang sakit na nung Lilian ni Super Friends, ganun. So moments like that, na those good early game conversions into a good mid game and a better control late game, that's like the main thing right now. Partly also drafting choices. I feel like with Manana, dahil mas malaki yung roster nila,
Right.
medyo, I don't know, sometimes we see the drafts and we go, may lapses, meron silang 2 or even 3 comfort pick na binigay. One really good option was available for them, an obvious pick, but then they chose to go another route.
Right.
Why didn't you just pick this pick? I'm trying to remember the specific names and heroes, pero kakanood ko lang lahat ng games from the first 3 weeks and medyo nagugulan na ako.
Right.
Everything's mixing in my head. And then, also, for TNC naman, it's opposite eh. I feel like TNC has a lot of very creative ideas.
Right.
But when it comes to like actually trying to bring that out in the draft, medyo, maybe it comes out, they have a specific plan and then mawawala. I think, and TNC though, I feel like they can be very proud of being able to take that one game against Blacklist and being very competitive.
Yeah, that's true.
In that
That's true.
series. Even though tinalo nila yung Manana Evos, I felt like that wasn't their best series.
Right.
The best series nila was against Blacklist. How they played game 1 and game 2, staying aggressive, playing fast. We were saying it in the broadcast na take a page from Onic's book, pressure mo yung mid rotation.
Right.
Mahirapan sila. And they did exactly that.
Right.
Yung game number 2, nagmatilda si Benteng, sa lupit magmatilda. Then si King Kong, nakuha niya yung game-winning retreat na mga ganun. So things like that. I feel like they have a clear idea of it na if you can tell when TNC like hardcore prepared, did all their complete homework
Right.
to go up against another team because you can read it in the draft. But then as time would go on, sometimes I don't know, it feels like they have a lot of ideas and sometimes a lot of things just fall through and hindi nila ma-execute. And it's the same for both TNC and Manana Evos. I want to see them competitive because if everyone's all equally competitive, di mainit eksena.
Right.
And then everyone starts feeling, uy, kala ko sigurado na tayo, di pa pala.
Yeah,
lumakas
yeah,
sila eh.
that's
So,
true.
I'm really hoping by week 4, TNC and Manana really get to flex on everyone, you know? Na pakita nila na no, we're gonna make a run where it's not gonna be like the past 2 seasons. We're gonna threaten you. We're gonna go into the playoffs somehow and bring that out. And kita naman na may potential na ganun eh, but for some reason, just sadly, and as an MPL fan first and foremost, it's just sad to see that there are teams struggling like that still. But then, nature of the sport, ganun naman talaga.
I mean, I think what I find interesting, like you mentioned, the creativity, right? And I think I think I can really get back into this that thought. I remember yun nga, when I first saw the draft of Omega, right? I thought, what the fuck is this? Like, this makes no sense. Yung Harith, yung tatlong, made no sense to me. But then I remember one of my colleagues kasi, they were saying, well, most likely, pinalabas yan kasi gumana sa Scrim. So in my thought naman, parang, I think there's a reason why they do all these things because it works when they have scrimmages. But the moment na they're inside the event na in the tournament per se, parang hindi na nare-replicate kung anong gusto nila mangyari sa mga nangyari sila sa scrims. That's what I feel like, particularly for TNC. Si Binana in particular, parang I have to agree, parang nawawala yung basics eh. Doon ako na...
Parang identity crisis na talaga.
Parang, shit, I mean, honestly speaking, right? How we won that win yons, it's like... I mean, it's like, it's not us winning, but it's really more of them losing. Kasi in the sense na like, bro, the fuck you...
But yung iniwan...
Yeah, like, those are like... things that you should be understanding, like on top of that, like us, for example, and I think everyone in general, they're already starting to do these particular strategies. You must slow push, you must parang you must split push, and then like, what the fuck, like why isn't this working with you guys? Like, what's happening? Like, it just makes it feel like they're in a different league, parang in the wrong sense, diba? Na parang these are things that you should understand kasi these are the basics for us to go forward. If you can't, kung hindi mo ma-satisfy yung mga pinaka-basics, paano pa kaya yung susunod? Kaya doon ako na lang si Minana eh. Parang admittedly, right? Like, there was like a moment na medyo magulo eh. Parang, for example, yun nga, before the season started, yung archives ba yun? Yung
Archives.
MDL na Archives, they were always beating the main team. And then I was like, huh? What's happening? Because like, supposedly the understanding is if you're the main team, you're quote-unquote better, you're stronger. Kasi you're a tournament above the other. That's normally how it is. Kasi like, developmental league naman kasi. And when push comes to shove, like, what's happening na parang, I remember this team as the team that won like, I don't know how many tournaments, sunod-sunod, like 10, I don't know. Parang basically dominating the amateur scene.
Yeah.
Pero parang, yun nga, nung pagkapasok nila ng season 11, medyo okay, kasi start mo, you need the confidence, you get the stage fright, which is true. Yeah. Kasi when I talk to other people who were part ng mga amateur teams, ibang-iba kasi pag nasa stage ka ng MPL for some reason eh. Kahit sabihin natin, nakasali sila ng mga Dark League, mga Juicy Legends, mga Real Me, nakakita ng crowd. Pero iba kasi daw yung aura pag ng MPL. Sige, okay, get it. Pero nung pagpasok ng season 12, like, nangyari?
Yeah, like you'd think na at this point, naka-adjust na sila.
Correct.
I don't know, it's just tough to see because there was so much hype around them and rightfully so going into season 11.
Tama.
At this point, yeah, the technical stuff are quite glaring. Theory ko right now is maybe at this point it might just be more of a mental thing. But then at the same time, I like knowing Banoobs, knowing the management that they really do their best to take care of the players' mental, then they do everything they can. So at this point, I can just shrug my shoulders when it comes to Minana Evos.
True.
It's again hard to read, but not in the same sense that like for me, Omega's hard to read. It's just andun na eh. Alam namin kaya nyo yan.
Right.
You were dominant before. What's going on? Are you all right? Sometimes when I see Minana Evos, I think, I just want to give all of you a hug.
Right.
Okay lang ba? Pre, okay lang, pre. Gus lang. And I mean that seriously.
Yeah.
There's parang bigat ng
dala or something.
Yung dala nila sometimes. Yeah. I don't feel that with the Archives boys when I see them. They look lighter, they feel lighter and all that.
Right.
But then when it comes to the like sila Brusco, like those who came from the really strong amateur squad.
Right.
I just hope they're okay. I really will, like, wholeheartedly, genuinely, I hope you guys are okay, man.
Yeah. I have to. I remember. I remember talking to like Eska and Kram about this. Because I asked them, how did you first feel like knowing that you were not getting into playoffs? I mean, it's I mean, there's still a lot of possibilities, right? But when you know that you're not winning, like sunod-sunod, parang yung mental state mo really fucks you up. Na parang, I think, number one, that's the pressure that they're feeling. And number two is yung pressure on themselves. Kasi they know na they were like fucking gods in the amateur scene.
Exactly.
But the moment...
The perfect way to put it, they were fucking gods.
They were fucking gods. Like, no one could touch them. No one could touch them. But the moment they stepped into the scene na they were supposed to be the groundbreaking factor na parang people would be scared of. Yun, the first season, nangyari. Di nga naka-playoffs. The second season, wala pa nga, di pa nga patapos. Parang palubog na what's happening. So the more that they keep on losing, on top of the pressure that they're already gaining, and then the pressure on themselves, just fucking them over more and more pa.
Yeah. And again, the potential is there. We saw it. They swept RSG.
Right.
And even though RGPH is quite inconsistent this season, I mean, if you can sweep RCPH on a good day, you're a competitive team.
Right.
So, na-surprise ako, like, in their next years after that, after sweeping RCPH, it's like, what happened? Ba't nawala?
Right.
Why is it gone again? Y'all swept RSGPH. What's going on?
Tama.
It's, again, seeing that as an MPLPH fan, first and foremost, is frustrating to see. And I just want to say, huy, hindi talaga ako taga Minana. Joke lang yung Rep AR. Natawa ako. Okay, here's another thing. Casters usually don't read comments. We only see and process the really good comments na natawag doon, yung constructive talaga, I guess na,
right.
We can learn something from that. A lot of it is just filtered as wala.
Yeah.
Natawa ako. Ang daming tao nagsabi nung na-win yun sila. Yeah. Grabe, sobrang bias naman ni Rep AR. Kasi.
Yeah.
Sa utak ko, I am holding back because a lot of the things I want to say about the Winions was not good.
Yeah.
Kaya lahat ng mga sinabi namin nun was, let's make Onic look good.
Yeah.
Let's make Super Friends look good.
Yeah.
Yung play na ginawa niya sa Valentina, he got 3-4 distract, Winter Truncheon, paglabas, Alecto Final Blow, bilang Valen, nakatakas.
Right.
And yung Alecto Final Blow
I do recall that, yes.
Right, that exact
I remember,
play.
yeah.
And we were praising the heck out of that.
Right.
Yung mukha namin ni Wolf Burrito nun, yun, ganun na lang kami.
Yeah.
Folks, that's frustration.
Right.
And pure utter shock.
Right.
Hindi dahil bias kami sa Minana.
Right.
But because, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Why did that happen?
Tama. That's true. Fuck. Oo nga, no. Tangina. I don't know, but it's just weird, right? Kahit sabihin natin, I think 7th yung Minana. Pero parang mas malaki yung problema dala ng Minana Evos compared sa TNC.
Yeah, and exactly. I'm glad na-mention mo yun. And I've said this before.
Right.
A lot of TNC's problems are super fixable.
Right.
I really think Coach Scholar, Coach Yasuo, they can all hunker up together and then find a way to make a threatening run to the playoffs.
Right.
I can see it I can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 steps they need to take to do that. With Manana Evos, it's worry.
Yeah.
Like yung sinabi ko kanina, it's
right.
What's going on? Ganun. But I wish them the best, man. Just, it's sad seeing players sad, guys.
Right. But before we go into our other teams, right? I'd just like to thank our sponsors, right? Sorry. Just gotta do this to make money.
So we got our responsibilities.
Ganun talaga kapag may binabayaran, guys. Ganun talaga. Sige, before anything, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Anterior Solutions, empowering businesses with software solutions. Isuzu Subic, your perfect partner. Attaché, ready anywhere. KTM Bike Industries, ready to race. Timex PH, we don't stop. Converge Fiber X. If you're a gamer and want better gameplay, change the game, go for Game Changer. Yan. Okay, amazing. I love my sponsors. Yay, pay me. Yay. Just kidding. Thank you so much to our sponsors.
Grabe naman.
We appreciate everyone for all the support. Genuinely, we thank each and every one of you. Again, we have here with us Renmar, Reptar, Rep AR, Rep TZ, oh my Reptar. It's up to you what you want to call him.
Kahit ano, okay na.
Rene J. Oh, pwede.
Then naging joke din sa amin yung sa season 11.
Right.
Behind the scenes, the casters were calling me Renny J.
Oh, Renny J. Okay. So yeah, since we already talked about Blacklist, Omega, TNC, and EVOS, I'm curious. What do you think about Onic?
Onic, at first, super doubtful because too many pieces, too many chefs in the kitchen.
Right.
It was like, how are you going to figure it out?
Right.
And then Onyx somehow figured it out, and it's working. They're on a streak. And I was shaky with Cram and Escalera's performance. So I was super happy for Cram when he got his redemption arc.
Oh, yeah.
Series MVP in game 3, the split push. And then in game
2.
2 ba yun o 1? So one of the other games, nahinto niya, game 2, yeah, tama. Yung nahinto niya si Kelra na paglapit sa Lord.
Right.
Because Keller was in retro range, but then nahinto siya ni Cram with his Edith, I believe. And then, hindi naka-retry si Keller, hindi na nakalapit Omega. Eventually, from that exact same Lord, na tuloy ng Onic then
Right.
One. So, super happy for Cram and his success. But, yeah, he has very tough competition in lane, man. Gem, again, the hidden gem. Well, I think consistently all of us casters have been praising Gem nonstop. Kita naman, and I even saw it in his MDL performances, like how he'd play for Arsenals na sobrang dependable niya. He'll pop off when you need him to. He doesn't, yung nakuha namin kay Gem is, parang he doesn't need to try so hard to make something happen.
Right.
He knows the fundamentals. He knows the flow of the game.
Right.
He knows when to pop off when needed.
Very Tim Duncan-esque. Big
Exactly.
fundamentals.
Parang big
right.
fundamentals. Mala Tim Duncan. So, yun. And I've said this before. I still feel like your best lineup is Gem and the XP. Of course, Nets and Ryzen yung never napapalitan. They're always in the same role.
Right.
Super Friends in the mid. And personally, as much as I love the chef, si Perks.
Right.
Perks and Yoshino, I feel like they're quite similar. Yoshino, because of his one long time, he already did MDL, so andun na rin yung medyo more cautious side of it.
Right.
Perks just, like I mentioned earlier, Perks feels like, go lang.
Right.
Ano? Uy, may tao doon. Sige, pasok ako. Uy, na final slash ni Jam yung dalawang membro ng Blacklist. Sige, i-Tyrants rage ko sila sa pader.
Right.
Uy, habulin ko yung si Haji. Uy, na-track ko siya na ano.
Yeah.
You know, that play did in game 1 versus Blacklist International. That was wild. But I get why the 3 roamer switches happens. They're very different.
Right.
In terms of playstyle. So that's it's good to have that option.
Right.
But again, also as much as I have a lot of respect and love Escalera, Super Friends, every time he shows up, parang he just looks pissed.
Yeah.
He just looks like, I'm gonna mess everyone
Parang
up.
galit.
Parang galit. Sobrang lagot kayo sa akin. Yun yung araw na kukuha ko kay Prince. Tapos pag naglaro na siya, it's like, sakit naman ng lili mo, pre. Grabe naman ginagawa mo bilang Valentina Mala Benedetta ang ginagawa mo, pre.
Yeah. I agree.
Sobrang lupit.
I mean, I do agree. In terms of the line, even actually for me, I can't really say because I think everyone has their own special, unique talents, so on and so forth. But I think the one thing I truly agree with you is the whole Gem thing. Because like the whole consistency, and like he's not the flashiest guy. Like the way I look at him is like, I wouldn't say kiluwash eh.
No, not even, yeah.
Maybe Renjo eh. Maybe hindi ko alam. Basta he's not the flashiest talaga. But for someone kasi like the way I think of it is like we have friends who's like the face of consistency. And then parang this guy is even more consistent than this guy. It's like, how does this even make sense? But like,
I kind of agree with the Renjo.
yeah, right. It's
Siguro
not.
prime Sun Sparks era rin.
Yeah.
He's
Tama.
never been, actually no, not even. He was still kind of flashy nung S4. S5 medyo nag-iba na.
Died down, yeah.
Tapos S6 onwards, dun na siya na mas naging smarter about things. Mala-discarded.
Right. It was like a no.
That's a good point, yeah.
And I think, I mean, overall, like, generally speaking, we're grateful and thankful that we're at the position that we are. I think it's interesting, right, to hear the same exact things that a lot of people say about us, that we say about ourselves as well. Na parang, initially, all of us were just like, 3 tanks? Huh? But and then we were able to make it work somehow. And honestly, special thanks talaga sa side ng coaches, the 4 coaches, si Hans, si Bluff, si Jeff, and then Coach Bam. And then on top of that, I will also have to thank all the players then kasi they understood the assignment, right? Na initially, it's not the most orthodox approach for everything, right?
Hirap.
And on top of that, right, honestly, the orthodox approach is really, here's your 5 strongest 5, throw them away. On top of that, it's like, okay, we're gonna switch people around, but okay, this time you have 3 people in this one row. It's like, huh? Well, then eventually it worked. When they were thankful for it, right? And I think what I'm curious to hear from you is like, if you were like the management of ONIC, what would you do?
In the hypothetical scenario, para
Right.
sa akin, is if ever nag-lose streak ulit. I think that's when I'm gonna have to put a hard stop muna on the constant shifting.
Right.
Pag nag-lose streak, say a really bad lose streak, and it's do or die, we need to get into the playoffs in like last 2 series natin, or last 3 series.
Right.
Wag na mag-shuffle.
Just so you would say na for you, your do or die lineup for ONIC would be Perks, Nets, Ryzen, Prince, and Gem.
I say Perks now, but it might actually get to the point where it might be Rapid too. Depending on paano pa nakapag-adjust yung ibang team sa meta.
Right.
Kasi 1 week pa lang na nakita natin
Right,
in competitive yung adjustments eh.
Right.
And from a fresh meta, a fresh update going, and then 1 week break, and then next week,
Right.
baka mag-iba na yung yung timpla ng mga teams. Eh.
Right.
So that's one thing to consider. Right now, yeah, Perks, but then I'd get it if they go for the Rapid Dude route.
Right.
Because you need a little bit more of the veterancy, seniority,
Right.
presence na din
Right.
to keep everything together. So yun. But that's, again, pag scenario is if lose streak malala talaga, we need to get to the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. But, yeah, kasi yun nga, you guys admitted, like, hindi naman siya orthodox approach eh. So, sometimes, the orthodox approach might be what's needed if ever sobrang lala ng sitwasyon.
Right. Okay. Thank you again for that thought. Right. Syempre, no biases here whatsoever. I'm quite interested to also hear what other people have to say in terms of like what they would do in our situation. Because I think it's not normal to have 3 tanks. It's really not.
Yeah.
But
a massive coaching staff, a massive roster.
That's true. So, but on top of that, it's like I'm thankful again for the support and your thoughts. Really. Since we have 3 teams left, anyone that you want to talk about?
Oh, this will be really fast. Please watch out for Echo. They look hell bent on proving the doubters wrong.
Right.
Kakatakot panoorin yung Echo because sometimes again, it's a theory for us, but it strongly feels like they have some specific games, not entire series, but some specific games that nagli-limit test sila ng lineup. And then pag natalo yung limit testing na yun, let's say they lose the first game, then they win 2 and 3, the wins are always so clearly Echo in control. Durog.
Right.
Or at least close to being durog.
Parang yung first one, they just want a theory craft.
Oh, that's like, okay. Warm up, quote unquote.
Right.
Ay talo, game 2 and 3, World Championship form. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And the last time I saw funnily enough, the last time we saw Echo go full "I'm gonna kill you" form out of the gate was the very first series of the season, Echo versus Blacklist. That's when I really felt like tinignan nila yung Blacklist and said, "We're gonna kill you today." And terrifying. It's very terrifying that they're in that kind of form.
Right.
But that's what makes me even so much more excited. I feel like their first match again, Echo Blacklist round 2, will be a good limit test for both.
Tama.
To
Yeah.
really test their power level.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not saying that Echo is the perfect team. We did mention the sort of like limit testing, theory crafting tendencies a little bit.
Right.
But sometimes you need to bring out a game like that in the MPL.
Yeah.
Kasi you're testing stuff out for the playoffs na rin eh.
Right.
But you're still doing everything you can to make it work. And it didn't work. It didn't work against Onic, RSG, and Minana. That's why they dropped those games.
Right. I think what I find so interesting kasi with Echo, it's like you already have the winning formula with you, and then they decide to do something that either can fuck up their winning formula or further enhance that formula, and that being of course JP. And I think at first, if you ask me, right, when people were saying, "Oh, they're sorry," right, just being being real, some stupid people, they keep saying that they only make JP play because she's the husband of Mitch.
That's messed up.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's super messed up.
By the way, for everyone that doesn't know, Mitch is the country manager of Echo. By the way, shout out Mitch. You're fucking awesome. There's this idea that he's only playing because of him being the husband. When in fact, if you ask me, right, no matter how good Yawi is, or he definitely has his moments, but there's a reason why JP is being played over Yawi now. And I think it's not even like it's my parang limit test lineup for me, I think that's their best lineup now. But I can't say fully because I haven't seen him play a game.
We haven't seen Yaoi yet.
Yeah, but the fuck, this guy is so fucking good. It pisses me off. Like, it's so funny when, because there are like specific people that you give a certain hero to that can like fucking carry games. Like, for example, when you think of Kyrie, you give him Ling, the game's over. You give him like a Lance, the game's over. When you think about Benny, you give him like Kelra. If he holds 1-1, the game's over. Parang that's the same logic, right? But I don't see that shit when it comes to a tank. Gets mo? Kasi,
It's quite rare.
yeah, kasi syempre when you think of like a core player, he can carry the game. But this guy is just so annoying in his Franco. I hate his Franco so fucking much.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Again, you guys have to go back to when Echo faced Omega.
Right.
And literally, tinotok ni JP yung hook niya kay Dexter, yung unggoy ni Claude.
Right.
Tas sakto paglapag nung right at
I
the
remember
edge
that.
of the limit of his hook, bumalik si Kelra, nahook si Kelra.
Right.
That is still to me one of the most broken plays this entire season.
Right.
Arguably the most great single showcase of just how fucking good someone is on a hero.
Right. I do agree.
And how smart JP is.
Yeah.
That moment lives in my head rent free.
Right. That was
Stop
crazy.
there, dude.
That was crazy. I mean, admittedly, that guy, kasi it's like, I mean, Echo in general, right? They're all good. That's what fucking annoys about them. But I mean, you have to give them the props because they are good. They're world champions for a fucking reason. And then they find someone who just elevates their game even more. It's kind of like crazy to me. Because they're already like in the winning formula. Like, no one could really fucking touch them at one point. And then right now, it's just doing the exact same thing. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
MDL season 1 MVP.
I mean, on
That's
top,
JP.
like, I mean, on top of that, right? Like, it's since you also mentioned it earlier, and like how Trike said it, how Echo has made this environment for both the MPL and MDL to thrive on. That's why they're able to grow in such a way that no other like MDL's team can do. That's why I find it so interesting na it's scary for me that these people are still in the MDL. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Kasi I remember I had the podcast with the players na, who do you think is a player that can go to the MPL, from the MPL to the MPL? They're like, everyone from Echo. And I genuinely agree with that. Like, they don't even have to go to the same, like, as the same five, but all of them individually, just crazy.
Yeah. They're all really good.
Yeah.
Like sila outplayed.
Correct,
group.
correct.
Yep.
Like,
Saida.
huge improvement by James. Fuck that guy.
And James.
Right. It's crazy. I mean, we were only talking about MPL, but like, that's the level of excellence kasi honestly Echo has.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, shout out talaga, like, as I mentioned, the management's pretty solid from Echo. Coaching staff also. And I really think na they definitely have a shot at M5, but of course we're here to kind of stop them because of course Onic, yeah. But I do believe that they're one of the teams that everyone's already looking out for. That's automatic.
Yeah.
But more the moment we hit playoffs, it's just scary. Yun lang. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Hopefully, it'll be wild if ever Echo goes through the regular season undefeated.
Yeah, that's true.
But even though they already went through the first half undefeated, I'm
Right.
still not confident to say that they'll be able to do it.
Mm-mm.
But I just wouldn't be surprised if they. Hopefully, hindi lang maano. Because even before sila Carl TZ, Yawi, they in interviews, actually around MSC time, and then from that, I think earlier this season, they also admitted na medyo they got a little bit too comfortable,
Right.
with their success and all that. Didn't expect to get trounced in MSC the way they did,
Right.
ending up in third. In their heads, they were already winning MSC,
Right.
but then boom, ito. Echo just looked like the hungry Echo from M4 and from season 11.
Right.
Because M4, of course, first ever team to win the World Championship without winning their own respective National League championship.
Right.
They were second. And then at the same time, still so many doubters that, yeah, okay, you swept Blacklist in the World Championship. Can you actually win the championship in the Philippines? And then it was a struggle. They struggled early in the playoffs. They were taken to 5 games by RCPH in the semifinals. And then suddenly, Echo swept Blacklist again and became the champions of the
Right.
Philippines. So hopefully, yeah, we don't see a comfortable side of Echo because I like this. We're hungry beyond description to win a championship again, Echo.
Right.
It's terrifying. And it makes for really entertaining MLBB.
Since we're good with Echo, there's just 2 teams left that we can discuss. RSG or AP Bren.
I can lump them also in the same thing.
Okay, go.
These are 2 teams clearly coaching staff, world's best.
Right.
The drafting minds of Coach Panda, Coach Theo, Coach V, and Coach Ducky.
Right.
So good.
Right.
They have a good grasp of the meta. They know what works. Although that Dyroth pick against Minana Evos to me was still quite questionable. But that's the only time I question something that RSG did draft wise. Eman's doing really well. Aqua showing why he's Panda's favorite. Light is light. For AP Bren, we know how good they are. I think what might be happening to them now is something that they've both showed in season 10 and that they have been vocal about in interviews wherein behind the scenes things aren't either going. There's stuff behind the scenes that they're not going to delve into but clearly affect their game performance.
Right.
Before it was RSG, they've said that we didn't get along, we'd fight.
Yeah.
For AP Bren, it was there's a lot that we want to do. We can't get along in terms of what to bring out. And when you think about it, those are 2 very fixable things.
Right.
The coaching staffs, the management, I know they know what they need to do to tell everyone, get your shit together. Let's talk about this, blah, 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 fix. And then they're going to be the beasts that they rightfully are.
Right. I do get you, honestly, especially for the side ng AP Bren more rather than RSG. I think AP Bren kasi at one point I thought they were like even scarier than Echo for me. Especially pagdating nung ISF.
Yeah.
They were crazy scary. And I think we were also kind of shocked din for me, right? Yung ESL na kasi we expected na them to be the one to like
Go to
own,
the grand
right?
finals.
Because like that's Bren like on its prime, parang ganon.
Yeah.
But what I kind of got shocked for the season is I'm gonna be very honest, right? And I'm just being real with myself. When I look, kasi I was always expecting them to be the top two. Not just being real. But I mean, I'm grateful for where we are now, right? These people, kasi it's like, I really thought that in terms of them, they'd only like lose one game. That's the type of, no, like I can see Echo lose nothing. Sure, because they're Echo. And then Brent maybe lose one game. Like either, but both of them the same rather, not just Echo. The same pedestal. That syempre one of them have to lose one eh. There's gonna be a 1-7-0, 1-6-1. It's either or, one of them. And I expected it's either Bren or Echo. I just got shocked na parang nung pagdaloy ng MPL regular season, there were sometimes some weird inconsistencies in terms of the overall gameplay. That's why I got shocked. Yun nga. I'm not trying to say na Echo so much better than Bren. Like fuck no. We are all good in whatever regard that we are.
Surprising lang talaga.
It's just surprising with what happened lang talaga.
And Coach V and Coach Ducky will figure it out. They will.
Yeah.
They've done it before.
Right.
And hey, better that it happens now than it happens in the mid playoffs.
Right.
And again, this Brent squad in season 10, surprising, made that run, almost eliminated the first round, took Blacklist of the limit. Season 11, disappointing run, of course. They were confident going into the playoffs. And then now, better now than later.
Right.
And same thing goes for RSC. But RSC has always had those mid-season inconsistencies.
Yeah,
Either pop off early or pop off into the late.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, once they get to the playoffs, whoever they face off first, they end up sweeping.
Yeah, that's
which
us.
sadly
Fuck,
was you guys for 2 seasons.
I swear to God, like this fucking RC team, no hate, right? I don't know why they have like there are teams that they're so fucking good against. It pisses me off. Pisses me off so much, gago. Like fine, we'll take the entire regular season, but these motherfuckers always take playoffs from us. So annoying. Fuck.
Wait, I have a question though.
Yeah, right.
Like within Onic, nag-usap na ba kayo na ano mangyayari if ever RSC ulit katapat natin sa playoffs first round? Has that discussion popped up or no?
Honestly speaking, just being very honest with you, right? It has come up, but knowing the mindset din kasi was like, no. Because regardless of where we are right now, we're just like, we're not yet in the playoffs. Kasi we still have no. So, it's not even in our thoughts right now. Kasi ang sa amin naman is, our thoughts are, if we were able to put up a fight with almost everyone and even beat, like, parang natatalo talaga namin yung iba. When it comes to the playoffs, and I was also telling Miss Lazy about this, right? When do I feel that in terms of how can I properly gauge our overall performance pagdating sa playoffs? I told her week 5. Because I think for me personally, for Onic, right? There are 2 teams that I think everyone's looking out for, really. It's always going to be Echo. And for me, honestly, because of what's happening, Echo and Blacklist. Those are the 2 I'm looking forward to. Pero in terms of if you're asking me if I want to fight RSG next like unang playoffs, like fuck yeah. I mean, I think right now kasi parang if I'm gonna let myself get eaten by this thought na I'm gonna be a bitch pagdating sa RNC, fuck though. Like I just can't be that way knowing that my team is like we'll fucking fight anyone.
Yeah.
So sa amin naman, it's like whoever comes, well, hopefully, if we get into playoffs, then whoever comes, then come.
Yeah. Man, if it's Onic RC round
God.
3, first round
Shit.
again. So
Yeah, that's so annoying, bro.
I'll be looking forward to it.
I think everyone will.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. I think that yun nga. So, in general, right, again, thank you for all your thoughts for all the teams, right? And I guess before we end, I just want to ask, like, who have been like some of the breakout players for you for the entire MPL, and who are parang players that you're really hoping could like step up and show them like, oh shit, like now that nakuha ko na yung experience ko ng leg 1, papakitaan ko kayo nung leg 2.
Okay. I love that question.
Right.
Minana Evos, Lord JM. TNC, King Kong.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
AP Brett. Well, we're already so used to AP Brett. And it's still the roster, but I want to see Flap start getting some MVP recognition.
Oh,
some
really?
games. AP Brett. In Omega, well, I've talked about Andorio, but I want to see Ryota continue shining.
Right.
For RSG, Eman's back for me also.
Right.
Still not completely there. Like I can confidently say Oheb is back. For me, Eman's back. But yo, wait. There's more there.
yeah.
Parang ganun yung vibe ko kay Eman eh. So I'm also watching out for Eman. And then for Blacklist International, we mentioned Sensui. He's already showed off and popped off. I'm just excited to see Oheb continue his role. Because mabalik na rin yung aura ni Oheb eh.
Right.
Pagkaangas din niya.
Right.
And then for Onic, I've talked about Gem, but I'll see more of I don't know, man. Perks really just won my heart with his first series.
Right.
Show and Kufra that he did played against Blacklist International, so good. And then for Echo, let me see. Echo's Echo eh.
Echo is Echo. Echo is Echo.
Well, if ever we had a chance and the management says, "Gee, it's time to unleash,"
Oh, Yawi.
I want to see Yawi.
Yeah, that's true.
What has 3 weeks of watching JP kill it in his role done to Yawi? If Yawi in his first game back shows up, has an MVP God game, be terrified.
Yeah,
Matakot tayong
Actually,
lahat.
that's very true. I would love to
Yeah.
see him play.
Di ba
I would love to see.
deep down iniisip ko, are they doing like an anime thing with him where hindi sinasabi na, yo, yeah, we still got some stuff to improve on. Pero deep down, sa utak nila, hindi, malakas na yan. Pero feeling ko, meron pa tayong makitang halimaw na hindi natin mako-comprehend. Let's not play him for 3 weeks.
Right,
Parang
right.
Yung evil plan
parang
talaga.
tinatago yung trump card nila, yung dark horse nila.
Tapos paglabas niya,
Yeah. I get you. That's actually true. No, I would love to see how he play. I would really like to see how he play. Any players that you want them to just step up for you?
Immediately Goyo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I remember from what I see from the announcement, it's an XP laner from
Si AJ.
Si AJ from
Right,
C4.
right.
Yung mag-swap sila ni Hesu. But for me, Goyo, this is your make it or break it.
Right.
He's shown flashes of it when he's playing the Faramis, when he's being very assertive and more G to start things instead of being reactive. Yung proactive talaga si Goyo alongside Ben things. Kaya nila. And we just need to see more of that consistently. So step up, and I feel like if he does step up, that's finally gonna complete the puzzle that TNC's been trying to complete this whole time.
I wanna see the entire archives play. That's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah. For the rest of the season.
I really want to see that. I want to see the difference talaga.
Naging malalason din sila ng MDL season 1 eh.
Yeah, that's it eh.
Yung muntikan na sila mag-playoffs.
Yeah, I think the logic is parang just because the team of Doggy parang it's just galon ng normies, but in reality, it's different. It's different.
Yeah.
And that's why I really want to see the entirety of the archive squad just go as 5.
Yeah. Akala ko nga tatapusin ng Minana Evos yung first half ng regular season
and then
with archives eh.
Right.
Yeah. So, hopefully for the second half, we do see more of archives. Kasi nung naglaro sila nung Snapdragon, I enjoyed their performances.
I'm pretty interested also. Yeah. I think so.
Hopefully. I feeling ko sleeper hit in the making. They took a point away from Blacklist.
Right. Actually, wait. Before we end, right? Since we already got into it. Because I find so interesting na maybe the identity crisis really comes from the idea that they're all separated from each other. Kasi parang...
Maybe.
Kasi they've been so stick with the said 5 of each, and then having to mix and match between this player's better mechanically, pero ang nawawala is yung overall team synergy. Maybe who knows na you give off a little mechanics, we give off a little discarte, but in turn you have team synergy. Maybe it would work. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, I'm glad that you mentioned it though. I just also really wanna show my appreciation for Lancy. Grabe yung suddenly the trust put on him na, okay, we're gonna be playing more you a little bit more than Domeng
Right.
in the mid lane. Sorry, no, not Domeng.
Si Goyong.
Goyong. Yeah. Lancy was a revelation to me, and he has a very bright future. Him and Lord JM.
Right.
Lupit sila.
I guess, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you for your thoughts on the MPL.
Thank you for having me.
Super happy to hear your thoughts on it. It's really interesting, no, to hear what other people have to say, especially a very unbiased angle to it. I think more than anything, I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for all of the thoughts that you share. And I find it so interesting that you have these takes that you and I actually, there are some that we don't really agree on, but there are
different
some
views,
there are some naman na we do agree on. So yeah, I hope next time if you're free, maybe sooner or later we can invite you again on the podcast so we can have more like this. And of course, more of yung pagkakanta mo.
Oh no. Pass. Pass pre.
Sige, but before we end our podcast, right? We want to give you a small gift coming from Onic. So yeah.
Oh.
So
No way.
what we have prepared here is the jersey. Yeah.
It's all black too.
And of course, what we always prepare for a new guest is the pin.
Oh.
Yeah, just to
Thank you.
Just to share with you, ang dami kasing humihingi ng ganyan sa amin. Pero syempre, you have to be a guest muna. But since you are a guest already, definitely that's yours. Yeah.
Look at that. Hi guys, welcome to my vlog. Ooh.
Is there any last words coming from you, Renmar?
I just want to say, I know there's a lot of mainit ang komunidad natin dahil sa usapan ng Hall of Legends.
Right.
I've said this in a video I just released. You're all right. Lahat kayo tama.
Right.
All of them are equally deserving, and I get why people are very touchy on the subject na, uy, dapat muna sa ganito, ganyan.
Right.
Pero eventually down the line, just think of it like this. Eventually, we'll get to the point where it'll be 2, maybe even 3 kada season ng induction.
Right.
And then suddenly we'll start seeing the names running out fast because, let's be honest, we're a super young scene compared to a lot of things. Compared to other places that already have Hall of Legends or Hall of Fames. At the end of the day, I have strong faith na lahat ng mga idolo natin ma-acknowledge yung yung greatness nila. And there's still so many names, hopefully, that people don't forget.
Right.
Hopefully, people don't forget Zapnu's contributions to the league.
Correct.
Kilowash, that he was the main XP laner before.
Right.
Before the US, before the... Well, Fuse always been here.
Before the Edward, before the...
Before the big name mid laners, there was one mid laner or mage that everyone looked up to, and that was Mage God Yuji, eventually Mage Dad Yuji.
Yeah.
Hopefully people take this time then to learn more about the past, because I know there's a lot of new fans, and to the new fans, welcome to our league. Welcome to our community. We have a far richer history than just the past few seasons, and all the players preach that. Learn where they come from, learn who they tried to emulate in the early days. Ang ganda ng history natin dito. And come M5, let's give him hell, man. Let's be an awesome crowd para sa M5, all right? Yeah.
Before we leave, who's your M5 picks? Non-PH.
Non-PH?
Sige, let's just do Indo. Kasi, ganun taling baragan.
Geek fam, I have full faith.
Geek fam.
Bring back Baloyski, Marky, Kyrie, Coach Yeb, and as competitors in M5.
So you're...
Sorry, Kingdom. I love you, Kingdom. Ang lakas nyo. Let's be real. But I just want to see Baloyski and Marky back and competing at home, man.
I have to agree with you.
I fucking miss them so much.
I have to agree with Onic Geek Fam. I have to agree on that.
Onic Geek Fam.
Yeah. So yun nga, before anything, we'd also like to thank again, Renmar, for coming. We'd also like to thank the following people for tuning in, and always do remember that we have small gifts for you. I'd like to congratulate Kim D and Jem Tino for being the ticket winners for our match tomorrow against RSG. Again, thank you again for tuning in and supporting the podcast. Once again, before we go, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Anterior Solutions, empowering businesses with software solutions. Isuzu Subic, your responsible partner. Attaché, ready anywhere. KTM Bike Industries, ready to race. Timex Philippines, we don't stop. And lastly, Converge Fiber X. If you're a gamer and want better gameplay, change the game, go for Game Changer. Again, before we leave, I must say one last final words, and very important. Please don't forget, please pay me. Yeah, because we need money. Yun lang. Again, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you again, Renmar, for the time. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
I did. It's always fun to talk about
Right,
that. I
right.
always love it.
Thank you so much. I just want to say good night. Thank you. Shout out to everyone out there watching. Thank you.